Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new podcast episode of the 90th Minute. This time, we're kind of just doing a brief review of the Champions League groups. Liam is not with us tonight, so instead we decided to bring on our good friend Pav, who was on the podcast before. Also, Matt couldn't be with us tonight either, so we're just going to have some fun today and go through the groups. And before we go into anything more, we just want to give out our condolences to Paolo Rossi and his family. Paolo Rossi is an Italian legend. He helped lead the Italians to the World Cup victory in 1982, and he sadly passed away at the age of 64. So our condolences, thoughts, and prayers with the Rossi family. Do you guys know anything about Rossi by any chance? Paolo Rossi? I didn't really get to see anything much of him.
Definitely one of the best Italian players of all time. I think he was part of the Italian team that defeated the Brazil side, which was considered the best team to never win the World Cup in 1982. And he scored 6 goals in the last 3 matches, which he just has a huge legacy in Italy.
Plus played for Juve, great player. And for him to only pass away at 64, I mean, it's unfortunate. So rest in peace to him. 2020, taking away way too many lives.
Honestly, yeah. Right, so we're going to be getting into the Champions League groups, which have concluded the day we recorded this. So before we get into it, if you want to check out our predictions, Lucas and I did a video with Viper Sport earlier, so the link will be in the description to that video to see kind of how our predictions went, who got what right, and also congrats to our friend Viper Sport, who recently signed with an agency with the same agency with Roberto Carlos, so that's amazing. So congratulations to him. Anyways, I think it's time we get into the groups. We're going to start off with Group A, which topped off with Bayern, Atletico Salzburg, and Lokomotiv Moscow. Guys, what do we think of this group?
I mean, I think we all saw how the actual standings are in it. I must say, just Bayern Munich being Bayern, we're destined to top this group, right? But Atletico Madrid gave them troubles. But
not in the first match, but
we don't talk about that here.
Yeah, it's true.
Against them, Bayern rotated quite heavily, but I mean, João Felix for Atletico, man, what a player! For me, he's the best youngster in the world. Just in terms of footballing ability. And I think he could potentially lead Atletico to maybe a quarterfinals appearance in the Champions League, but the rest of the Atletico Madrid team just isn't very strong, in my opinion. So, I mean, this was just a foregone conclusion, especially after last season with Bayern.
Lucas might have to disagree with you there.
I disagree. I mean, they've only conceded 2 goals in La Liga right now. They had one bad game against Bayern, and overall they do have, in my opinion, some underrated players across the squad, but I think I think Bayern are definitely the better team and deserve to win this group. Although there is also weaknesses in Bayern's game that I saw when they played Salzburg, especially they're just very leaky in the back, but Salzburg weren't very clinical enough.
And I mean, Salzburg are a good team as well. I expect them to do something in the Europa League, potentially be a dark horse in that competition. I like Marsch as their manager. I like, I'm going to try and pronounce his name, Sobotlai. I think that's how you say it.
I think you got it right there, yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's
from Salzburg. Yeah. But again, I think just Atletico Madrid, obviously they're doing really well in La Liga now, but I just think compared to the competition here in the Champions League, it's going to be a lot harder for them. I'm thinking quarterfinals for them, but that's just my personal view.
Yeah, I think in this group you did. I think for me at least, you saw 2 teams that can definitely go on to win the competition because Atletico have been very strong in La Liga. Although interestingly enough, in this group they've conceded more goals in 6 games than they have in all of La Liga. So 6 games and they conceded 8. I think in La Liga they conceded 2.
Yep.
So that's kind of funny. 2 wins, 3 draws, 1 loss. Bayern, of course, with the 16 points, 18 goals for, 5 against. Lucas, I went and rewatched our predictions of this group, and I think for the most part, I had this group pretty straightforward: Bayern, Atletico, Salzburg, Lokomotiv. I think you got the same.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember. Sometimes you like to show love for Atletico, but I did somewhat predict that I thought Lokomotiv was going to get smashed 5-1. That didn't happen. So they did all right. They did bad, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So
it's very difficult for them to get out of this group.
Honestly, yeah. Let's move on to Group B. Real Madrid, Gladbach, Shakhtar, Inter. This was a competitive group, like I think we predicted. Fun to watch. I remember before this match day, a lot of people were thinking, "Oh, Real Madrid's going to the Europa League. It's done. They're over." But they came back and salvaged some points.
They had the quality to actually clutch up when
Honestly,
they really
yeah.
needed it.
I guess let's start off Pav.
What did I think of this group, or what I think
Yeah.
of Real Madrid specifically?
Or well, I mean, just let's go with both. What did you make of the group as a whole?
Well, there was a Champions League sort of group stage preview that I did on Viper Sports channel, and I said, look out for Borussia Mönchengladbach, man. And hey, what do you know? It's their first ever qualification to the round of 16 in the Champions League in the club's history, I believe. So that's crazy for them.
Yeah.
Shakhtar Donetsk as well, finishing third. They put up some very impressive wins, 2 over Real Madrid. Plus, I mean, Mönchengladbach slapped them twice, but they did hold their own against Inter, and then Inter finished bottom. Antonio Conte, man, he's on thin ice. Listen, he's doing well in Serie A so far, like just in general, but his expectations and the money he spent and the fact that he went upstairs to the owner and complained to him, I want all the signings that I want, otherwise I'm going to walk. And for him to turn in this performance in the Champions League.
Yeah, to not even get Europa League is
that's
bad.
a disgrace. That's a disgrace.
Bad.
It is, and especially because Inter, they could have gotten some players like last year that were like really promising, like Tonali and Kulusevski, but instead they went with Conte's choices of these older veteran guys. And I don't know. I know I read a journalist I respect. He thinks that Conte is just like demanding a lot because he wants to get sacked, but Inter really can't sack him because that'd be way too much money because this guy's on massive wages. And then even in Serie A, even though I think they're in second, I think they should be doing way better than where they are right now. It's just ridiculous.
Conte merda. Listen, for everybody talks about him having a championship mentality. For him to get hired, 1, do this in the Champions League. 2, that theory, and I saw that theory as well, for him to sign all these older guys. Keep in mind, he apparently wanted Ashley Young, according to Ashley Young, back at Chelsea. For him to want all these older players just that he can get sacked and get that money, Conte merda, man. I mean, like, no. Loser mentality right off the bat.
Honestly, yeah, it's shocking to see him in 4th place. I think, honestly, before the group stage happened, I predicted them to be in 1st place in this group. I thought they had the quality, and I think, like Lucas said, a lot of people expect him to be doing a lot better in Italy. For some, they have the best squad in Italy, and right now AC Milan's on top, and it's just you would expect them to go to Europa League, and they're out. They went to the Europa League final last year. Sorry, Lucas.
If they don't win Serie A, then
Conte's out.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, he has to win the league now, or it's just the biggest disgrace for even with Inter's crap years in the past. This is just bad.
Now, I didn't watch. Sorry, Greg. I didn't watch the Shakhtar Inter game. Was there something that happened with Lukaku? I heard.
Oh.
I might have missed.
Yes.
Can someone explain what happened?
So you have a Lukaku, top 3 striker in the world, in my opinion. I think that Inter team relies on him way too much. But there's a shot, and it's like a rocket. It's inside the box. It's about to go in, hits off Lukaku's head, and goes out.
Oh my god. That is interesting you say Lukaku's top 3 because he even stated himself that he thinks he's a top 5 striker in the world. So he's got a lot of confidence. Shakhtar, on the other hand, I think they surprised a lot of people. I mean, if you're someone who follows Ukrainian football, obviously it's not a surprise. I heard a lot of hype around Shakhtar and some of the Ukrainian players.
A lot of good young kids.
Yeah.
A lot of good young kids, a lot of foreign exports. That team's also going to cause some problems in the Europa League. Last season they went out, lost 5. Here's the thing. Last season they went out in the Europa League, lost 5-0 to Inter. And here they finish above them in their Champions League group.
Interesting. I found Shakhtar actually, they were a lot of fun to watch last time they played Real Madrid. So I'm okay with them being 3rd. Gladbach, on the other hand, I think they can be a dark horse in the next round. I think they have some quality players. They looked a bit flat against Real Madrid, in my opinion. Real Madrid were the better team that game. Thuram, I think, is a player who's very underrated right now in the world. Same with Playa. Elvedi, Zakaria, so they've got quality in that team that people are sleeping on. What did you guys think of Gladbach? I guess Lucas?
Very good that they honestly are moving on.
Yeah.
And like you said, they do have the quality. and they can definitely cause an upset to one of the first seeds that's going to be going on in the round.
Yeah, I do agree. I think they were definitely flat today. Like Real Madrid definitely outclassed them. And I thought they were lucky to even get through, because really all in the other match, if one of the sides scored one goal, they would have gone through, which is why I kind of questioned Shakhtar a little. I guess it seemed like they were fine with Europa League, and especially towards the end of the match, they didn't really push towards a goal at all, which I thought was a bit confusing. But maybe they like their chances in the Europa League, and
yeah, well, that's the thing. That's a good question. If you're a club like Shakhtar, would you prefer just to go to the round of 16, most likely get knocked out, very most likely, or go to the Europa League and have a chance at continuously going on?
Yeah, I don't know, because like in the round of 16, I mean, there's more glory in the Champions League, but how long would Shakhtar last? I know the money is there.
They most likely would lose to one of the first seed teams. So,
well, I mean, crazy things have happened in football, but it's weird.
Plus, they made the semifinals last year in the Europa League, so
that's true.
They favored their chances.
That's true. Real Madrid, though, it seems like whenever Zidane's job is questioned, they go on this short run and actually start winning games. Like Sevilla, they win 1-0 with a little bit of a lucky goal, even though I thought they weren't too bad in that match. Now they win against Gladbach, where they looked pretty good, and with Atletico Madrid coming up in the Madrid derby, are we just gonna see Real Madrid show up, or?
Yeah.
Real Madrid losing twice to Shakhtar and still topping the group is kind of
in the Gladbach game. Madrid's midfield, I thought they really ran things. I was really impressed. I think a lot of people sleep on Madrid's midfield, if anything. Cruz, Modric. I think Valverde played that game, right? Correct.
It was Casemiro, Modric, and Cruz.
Yeah, still. Regardless, their midfield is class. The rest of the team has some. I mean, the wingers, Benzema was class, great header, I thought. So it was just a dominant Madrid performance. It's a performance that we think we should expect every week, but there's so many inconsistencies with Madrid and Zidane and always these rumors. So I mean, Zidane technically saved his job in that game. So Pab, you had some comments about Madrid, I think.
Yeah. Listen, I don't rate Real Madrid that highly as a team. I think that with Zinedine Zidane, he kind of just lacks a plan A. He has a plan B, C, D, E, F, G, but he lacks a plan A. And I think once he comes up, because similar to last season, Manchester City knocked out Real Madrid quite comfortably. But I think once they come up against a team with a strong plan A, they're kind of screwed. But I'm looking at all the second seed teams. I mean, they could go up against Barca. Actually, no, they couldn't.
I don't think it's
yeah, so they could come up against Leipzig, Lazio, not Sevilla, Atalanta, Porto, and that's it. So I see them getting through against all of those teams. I can also see them reaching the quarterfinals. If they don't, which is very possible, Zidane's also going to lose his job. Let's face it.
Yeah, especially where they end up in the league, which isn't looking promising right now. Like if he goes out in the round of 16, it's not looking good for him.
Signs of 2011 all over again, or 2010.
Oh yeah, 2010. Yeah.
Let's move on to Group C, where Man City, without a doubt, topped the group with 5 wins, 1 draw, and 0 losses. Porto came in second, Olympiacos third, and Marseille fourth. Any really surprises in this group, guys?
No.
Not much
for me, because I kind of hyped up Marseille a little bit because last season they were quite good, but there was one thing I forgot about, and that's the supernatural part of football. They have a curse where for the last couple years or something like that, they haven't won a single Champions League game, and they just kept. It was like loss after loss after loss. They just consistently lost all their Champions League matches this season. And I go, yeah, you know what? What do I expect at this point? I mean, that type of stuff just doesn't get broken after a little while.
Yeah, so. I wasn't really rating Marseille heading into this Champions League campaign. I don't know. Whenever I've watched them in the past, they just seem like the most average side in the world to me. I don't know. It's just I'm never really excited to watch Marseille, and I don't know. They can obviously pull in a good performance, but their Champions League campaign was a disgrace this year.
Lucas, actually, in our predictions, you kind of said the similar thing with Marseille. There's nothing really exciting about them. They have Tovin and a few other players, but that's about it. Nothing. There's no X factor the Marseille side.
I mean,
Olympia.
With like guys they have on their team, maybe at their best, like Payet during his best years, he was an X factor, but he's getting older, and they don't really have a striker that's gonna consistently score goals since like ever since Balotelli left, and that was only for like half a season. His last game, he got a red card.
Yeah, no, and then there's Olympiacos who got third, which I think actually I somewhat predicted. Funny enough, here. There was a guy who commented on our prediction video. He says, "You don't know about Olympiacos. Look the previous season," and then something about British politics. He said he also commented, "The one whose name is Lucas. I respect you, but first, football is about fun and challenge. Second, I didn't expect from someone putting Olympiacos in second. Let me remind you, we have Envia, Valbuena, El Arabi, Jose Sa, Bruma, Fortunas, Rafinha, Semedo, a bunch of players." Weird comments, to say the least.
With that, I think Olympiacos is happy to get third in this kind of a group
League.
Because Man City and Porto are strong teams. They're most likely going to get through, which they did. Porto always makes the round of 16.
Yeah.
That was a part I also forgot. Is that Porto just always qualify for the knockout matches?
They really do, honestly. They're always there.
They do, but they never feel like they're going to be a dark horse.
They're just kind of that team that's always in the round of 16, and like one of those top teams is happy to get to play against.
Oddly enough, with all the hype that Olympiacos is getting in that comment, they went 5 straight defeats in the Champions League. I feel like they're one of those teams that's definitely missing the home atmosphere. We all know that Olympiacos has some insane fans, so... Yeah, good luck in Europa, Olympiacos. Let's move on to Group D, which was also very competitive. Lucas, I think you had a lot of fun in this group. Liverpool topping it, Atalanta, Ajax, and a team I don't really pronounce, Midtjylland.
I think that's how it's.
I always call it Midtjylland. So, anyways, Lucas, you want to take the stage with this one in Group D?
Honestly,
I mean, your boys, Liverpool.
Liverpool did finish top, but this group in general was disappointing because I thought the matches would be more exciting throughout the group, but in general, they're more, for the most part, a bit more cagey, except for when Atalanta let us play our game and pretty much let us just walk into their house so easily. But, I mean, Liverpool drew against Michelin in the Midtjylland. I won't bother.
Midtjylland, just call it that. Itswoz's pronunciation.
Tied them in the last match day. They were, of course, injuries, playing some youth academy players, weird VAR things that happened in the second half. It's whatever. We were through already. I was more intrigued with Atalanta Ajax in the last match day because Ajax were at home, needed a victory. Atalanta, there was all this rumors circulating that apparently Gasperini and Papu Gomez had a row with each other, and Papu Gomez punched Gasperini, and that Ilicic was pissed off at Gasperini, and the Colombians on the team was tired of Gasperini's tactics. And then they go out, play pretty well, better than Ajax, and just go away with a victory, and they're through the knockout stages for a second year in a row. And Ajax are going to the Europa League for a second year in a row.
I mean, the only thing, because I'm going to be totally honest, I haven't watched any of the matches from this group. On the same match day, there were other matches that I watched.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Liverpool finishing top was expected. Here's the thing with Atalanta. I think last season they were expected to sort of be the dark horses. People started attaching on to them late. The stocks dropped because they're currently 9th in Serie A, which is why the whole Papu Gomez, Ilicic, whole like Colombian crew falling out with Gasperini. That's why it makes sense for me. Like, I wouldn't say that it happened. I can't confirm, but considering the turmoil that's currently happening in Serie A, and also the fact that they got obliterated as well by Napoli in Serie A, I just see him getting dumped in the round of 16. That's it.
Greg, you were gonna say something before Pav?
No, I was just gonna say, like, I kind of agree with you in there, where I just think Atalanta will most likely get smacked by any of the first seed teams that are coming in. Like, I'm sure they're happy But I also think Ajax, of course, after not last season, but the season before with the Champions League and what they did and everything, going to Europa League's pretty disappointing for them again, but hopefully they can actually make a run there.
Yeah, hopefully they don't run into a Getafe like team again.
This is one. I mean, I think I'm more disappointed with Ajax. I think they had some exciting players coming through as well, but they got kind of lucky in the game against Atalanta. I mean, Gravenberch, he got sent off for a bit of a slap to the face, double yellow. I think it was a deserved of a yellow. At the same time, just the way he got sent off was kind of like, it felt like it was a little soft, but
yeah,
it's
it's a yellow, but it's not a second yellow.
Yeah, exactly.
In a sense.
And I think that just cost them the game in the end. I think it was Muriel who just kind of went around the key, Onana, and slotted it in. Ajax did have a chance to take the lead just before the goal, so it was just whoever got the first goal they're through. Essentially, that's what happened. And I mean, I think everyone has a little bit of love for Ajax, but I think they can do well in the Europa League. Atalanta, once again, I think I'll agree with you guys. It just doesn't seem like that magic that they had the year before. It's just not there. There's too much controversy going around with the manager, the players, but we'll see how far they can go.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to Italian managers, when it goes to hell in a handbasket. Simple as that.
Group E, Pav's team, Chelsea top.
My time. It's my time.
14 points. Sevilla in second, Krasnodar in third, NNA in fourth. Pav, talk about Chelsea. They've been good this year so far. They've started to kick things up a bit.
They've started to kick it up a notch early on in the Champions League. So we drew to Sevilla, 1-1. Sorry, no, not 1-1, 0-0. And I thought that Sevilla, for the most part, sort of dominated the game. Here's the thing. We're not exactly a team that will dominate a team in terms of possession, but will just create a boatload of chances on the counter or from crosses. Trust me when I say you can bet your house on it. If we score a goal, it's either going to come from a cross or it's going to come from a counterattack. So we just consistently have just went with that throughout this group stage, essentially. So then we beat Krasnodar. Krasnodar was a bit of a tricky victory because, yes, we won 4-0, but I think the introduction of the crowd in the Krasnodar Stadium was almost sort of like a breath of fresh air, and I think the fact that fans are now being implemented into other stadiums now, it's also going to have that same effect. But I think Chelsea, we were just so clinical the whole time. We got lucky against Rennes. Rennes were the better team than us in that game, but we still got a last-minute winner thanks to Olivier Giroud. So shout out to him. But yeah, I there's that famous clip of mine where it's like, what are our chances of winning the Champions League? I previously said 30-50. I was hyped, but I think considering our competition in the Champions League and the fact that a lot of top teams really aren't top teams anymore, everybody's just kind of like on the same level of being good but not great, apart from maybe Bayern. I think we have a legitimate shot of potentially winning the whole competition just because our defense is solid and we're just lethal on the counterattack. And sometimes you need that. Plus, we have insane luck. We faced Krasnodar with 8 of their players out from the starting lineup. In our first game against Rennes, we got that extremely lucky red card decision. Plus, Camavinga was out. So, yeah, no, for sure. I think we have a good chance of winning it.
Yeah, no, actually, before I'm going to reference our preview again. I actually had Sevilla topping this group because I thought they were a solid team and they looked like a tough team to break down from what I saw in the Europa League. But, I mean, they're going through in the round of 16. No Europa League for Sevilla. So, thank God. Hi.
Yeah. We'll get to you, man.
Yeah, I know. I'm a little happy about that.
Your turn's coming.
Yeah, I know. Chelsea, of course, I think, they've been just on the upward trend, it seems. I mean, Zuma and Thiago Silva have been great. I think
I got him on the back as well. I got
really?
Thiago Silva, right?
Wow.
Yeah, I got him right there because I made a bunch of controversial statements about him as well, so...
I mean, I know you've been saying how Thiago Silva's been the best center back in the Premier League in the world. I mean, he did very well at PSG.
I said he was second last season, but then after this season, he's got to be first because he's just so elegant.
There's some validity to it. Like, honestly, when you think about top center backs, you have Van Dijk, and who else do you maybe think? I mean, maybe Ramos. David Alaba, Ramos, Varane, but I mean, Madrid haven't been perfect this year, right?
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I think Ramos leaves a lot of space in behind him, which is
Oh, I
fine
agree.
because he's an aggressive center back. But I mean, Thiago Silva and Kurt Zuma, they just complement each other perfectly. It's like you
And-
have Thiago Silva, who's the Cadillac of center backs, and then you have Kurt Zuma, who's just like a Hummer.
now Zuma, I know there was a lot of potential when Zuma was younger, and I think we're starting to finally see that. So yeah, I think he's been a breath of fresh air. For
He just needed that right partner, that right leader to get him going, and it looks like it's that complete like back five, including the goalie and Mendy. It looks really clean right now, honestly. And they just got two wingbacks that like to play aggressively and can put a good ball in with two strong center backs. It's looking good for Chelsea.
I mean, we talk about Chelsea's goal scoring threats. I mean, they conceded 2 goals in this group, and I know some of these teams are not the most attacking threats in the world, but and then there's Rene and last Rene, how do you pronounce it?
Rennes.
Just Rennes.
Oh yeah,
Just
there
Rennes.
you go. Camavinga, there's a lot of hype around him, but he didn't really seem to make an impact in that. I mean, how often did he play? Did he play much? I know there's a lot of hype around him.
He missed our first game. Listen, he was okay against us, but I mean, for the most part, here's the thing. I thought Rennes were going to finish third, potentially even upset.
Yeah,
because at the time they were first in Liga when these draws happened, and I don't know, they played some decent football, but luck just didn't
work for
go
them.
Their way. Yeah, it just didn't go their way, and sometimes that happens in the Champions League. Who knows?
Greg's favorite Doku couldn't get it done.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to Group F, where Dortmund tops it with Lazio in second, Club Brugge in third, and Zenit in last. It's a competitive group once again. I thought Bruges was not bad. I thought they were all right. Lazio, I think most people predicted this way. This is how the group was going to go. Dortmund, on the other hand, how do we feel about them right now?
I'm a bit wishy-washy. Obviously, I think they haven't been at their best offensively this season. Like Jadon Sancho started the season quite slow. He has picked it up a bit recently. Haaland has been on fire, to be fair to him. His Champions League goal scoring record is insane right now. But I do think defensively they're just a little too inconsistent. Well, the team in general is just inconsistent. When things get comfortable for them, it's easy for them to take the foot off the gas, and other teams can take advantage of that. And I remember in the first group stage game against Lazio, where while Dortmund were still playing well, going and attacking Lazio were able to get by their defense at times quite easily.
I look at that defense. Hummels is the center back. Piszczek is the right center back. Emre Can is the left center back. I mean, Hummels is finished. I mean, just at the top level. Piszczek, is he really a right center back? Is he really a right center back? A center back. I mean, he would consistently he started out kind of being able to play as a center midfielder and as a center back at I believe it was Bayern Leverkusen before going to Liverpool. But yeah, I just don't see it. I think the main thing that they're also missing as well is a manager. I think imagine Marco Rosa went to that Dortmund team and worked with the talent pool that was there.
Yeah, that'd be disgusting.
I'm watching that team.
I still think they're still an entertaining team to watch most of the time, but
yeah,
Favre does let them down.
The attacking talent on that team is crazy, and of course Haaland is not with them right now, but they definitely will need him back.
Yeah, well, for me, I'm gonna agree with you guys. But I think my biggest issue with Dortmund has always been they've always had a good attack. It's just their defense always seems so, sloppy at times, inconsistent, not fast enough. Like, I mean, Lukasz Piszczek, he's playing center back now. I mean, this is his last season of football. A lot of people don't know that, actually. So I mean, with United out, I'm of course going to get them. I would love to see Dortmund go on a run to win it. They probably won't. They are the team I want to see win, just because for Piszczek, please. It'd be nice to see him, nice sending off. But yeah, I'm not feeling confident with them going forward. Unless they can sort out the back, it's hard to say. Any comments on Lazio?
They're having a mediocre season.
Yeah.
Last season they were second. Actually, no. Last season they were third, I think, in Serie A. This season they're in seventh. They're just okay. And Ciro Immobile is not the player that he was last season. So, I mean, They're just nothing
Mhm.
special. And I don't think
Yeah.
Club Brugge is either. I don't think Zenit is either. This was kind of just the battle of Listen, Dortmund was good. They
Yeah.
weren't great, but everybody else was just nothing really that special.
No, I would agree with you. Let's move on to Group G, where, well, of course, the headline match was Ronaldo versus Messi, Juventus, Barcelona, Dynamo Kiev, and Ferencváros, the Hungarian side, bottomed out, of course. Of course, the headline was, like I said, Ronaldo, Messi, Juventus, Barca. Pav, you had some interesting comments about the match the other day that some people were unhappy with.
Man,
And I'm honestly, I would probably agree with you.
here's the thing. People say don't compare Messi and Ronaldo. I agree, but where's the fun in that?
Yeah.
Come on. Are you kidding me? Come on now. Don't tell me when there was Maradona and Pele, people were like, "Oh, appreciate both of them. Don't debate it." No, man. You tell that to any Argentine or any Brazilian, they'd kick your ass. I don't know if I'm allowed to say ass, but
That's okay. We say
Oh,
worse than that.
Okay, perfect. But basically, yeah. I mean, I just thought, listen, if you watch the game, Ronaldo walked around and he scored 2 penalties, and that's fine. That's how he works in the system. Morata's sort of like his creator. I don't know why they're not really using Paulo Dybala. He just hasn't really
Yeah.
worked this season. But Messi, I mean, look at that team. Frankie de Jong and Marc-Andre ter Stegen are probably the only 2 players that I really rate in that Barcelona side right now. Ousmane Dembele can be inconsistent mainly due to injuries, and they have some really promising talents. I like Fati, I like Pedri, I like Trincao, I like Puig as well, but I really like Dest as well, but none of them are going to be top players anytime soon, especially with the expectations placed upon them. And I just think Messi just has a lot to do. And when he got the ball, he created stuff. I think he had a better game than Ronaldo yesterday. But I mean, just
Yeah.
looking at this group, Juve are the stronger team. Koeman is just not the guy for the job at Barcelona. Whether Pirlo is or not, we'll have to see. But it's just pure apathy from Messi. I see Barca just getting bounced in the round of 16, honestly. And as for Juve, they can just as easily get bounced around in 16 too, or even in the quarters. And as for Dynamo Kiev, I was just looking forward to a lot of their talent. I was looking forward to Supriyaha. I was looking forward to Tsihankov. I was looking forward to Denis Popov, who scored yesterday. So, yeah, that's mainly it.
Yeah, I'll agree. I mean, with Juve and Barca, I mean, I thought in that final match, Messi looked like he was doing a lot more for his team than Ronaldo. Messi just seemed to kind of control the ball better, control the game. He was creating chances for Barca. They were kind of unlucky at times. I thought they did create chances. I thought Barca. I mean, is it fair to say that were they the better team? That I mean, they lost 3-0, but I mean, I think it was 50-50, but I mean,
It's
2
hard to say
penalties.
because it started off with
Yeah.
a early penalty, which a little
Would obviously
debatable.
it would deflate any team, but I think
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's hard to come back from that, especially, and then the second one went in, of course, after later on. But like, you could see that Barca was trying, but just it wasn't really working for them either. The chances just weren't going.
Yeah, they just have lack of luck plus lack of any defensive structure as well. You really think that with the defense, I mean, the defense that they put out, you really think they're gonna do anything? I mean, the second they face a top team, they're done. Hell,
Yeah,
if they face Bayern again, it'll be double digits.
And I
That's
found
what
it
I'm
kind of
saying.
silly that there was kids, like, I'm gonna say kids post game that were claiming, "Oh, Ronaldo's the greatest of all time because of this game, because he scored 2 penalties." I'm like, he didn't run the match.
That's an insult to Ronaldo, if anything.
Yeah,
Because if you got to base his goat case off that one match, you're serving him short. All right.
Yeah.
That's a disgrace to Ronaldo's legacy. If that's what determines him as the GOAT. No, it's everything else.
No, yeah.
And just to quickly run up this group, though, I think everyone expected them to be first and second in this group. It's kind of just this group is just there. You go. That's it. And
yeah, when I once again I went back and watched a prediction. I somehow had Juve top. I was actually surprised to see Barca at the top before this group, with how poor they performed in the Liga and just a whole. So credit to them for getting second, I guess. I mean, no
but Juventus has
surprise.
been in the same situation.
Yeah,
right?
I feel like they're kind of
Yeah.
similar situations right now. No team,
They're the same club.
No team is
Right,
really a
basically,
Champions
honestly.
League contender anymore. I mean, God, but yeah, Lucas, you there?
Yeah.
Any comments on this group?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't rated Juventus for many years now. I just don't think they're that good of a team as some people say. They have improved their midfield this past season, but generally they're just not the most entertaining team to watch. Barcelona, we know Barcelona have so many problems. I remember over the weekend when they lost to Cadiz, their manager, Cadiz manager, literally answered tactical questions on how they beat Barcelona, and it's just easy to predict what they're gonna do. They're always gonna have players that try to cut inside. The only player that really doesn't do that kind of stuff, tries to go more wide, is a guy like Ousmane Dembele, who wasn't playing. Defensively, they're just shambolic at times. Barcelona, this was a long time coming for them. They're lucky that this group wasn't as challenging as others, and I don't think they're going to go far in the Champions League at all.
Yeah. I mean, listen, they're going to get bounced first round, easy. The second they face any team with any sort of backbone, they're done.
And I mean, because they got second in the seed, they're going to be playing most likely one of those big boys. So.
I think the weakest team they could get is probably Dortmund.
Maybe Madrid.
They
can't get Madrid. So.
No, they can't get Madrid. No. Here are their options. Bayern. Imagine if they get Bayern. If they get Bayern again, Messi. Listen, if they get Bayern again, Messi's taking the day off. He's like, because listen, he still performs well on the pitch, but I just get the sense of just pure apathy. Like, I cannot wait until this season. It's like. It's like me as a uni student now. Like, everything's on lockdown, everything's boring. It's like, man, I can't wait for this year to be over. That's the exact same thing that Messi. He's like, I can't wait to go to Paris and enjoy it and win it and win a Champions League with Neymar and Mbappe. I just want this thing to be over. I mean, that's just his reaction. But it's Bayern. They could also get Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Dortmund, and PSG. So they're screwed.
Pray, if you're a Barca supporter, pray. The only
prayer won't save you. Prayer won't save you.
The last comment I was gonna make about this was that in that game, I felt there was a weird moment where there was a call that was made, and Barca was complaining. Coman, the Barca bench and the Juve bench was going at it, and you saw Paolo Dybala just mocking Coman, just saying, "Look how fat you are." I'm like, I know it's just football banter, but somehow the man's a goddamn legend. He's won more Champions League than you're probably going to win, Paolo. Relax.
Man.
So, I mean, to be fair, that's football. Like, I mean, if you ever play football and there's banter.
I mean, Banega in the Europa League final last season was making fun of Conte's hair implants. I mean, sometimes they hit you with some cold lines, man.
Jeez, I mean, yeah. And then let's get to the group.
Yeah, it's time.
The best for last. The best for last. The most talking points, for sure.
PSG tops the group with Leipzig in second and Manchester United third. Istanbul. What can I say, boys? I remember.
You have the floor.
Dude, okay,
Take it away.
Like I said multiple times, I went back to our video where we predicted these groups, and I said, if I'm being honest, I can see us getting third in this group. There's too much quality with PSG and Leipzig. Leipzig are better. Sure, they might not have the resources on the field as good as United, but tactically, they have a much better manager. And I'm not surprised. I'm disappointed. We had, a 90% chance of going through after our first two victories, and then we lose to Istanbul, which how does that the only victory Istanbul had was against us. I mean, if you watched our live stream of this match, I looked distraught at the end. I was done, and we shot ourselves in the foot multiple times in that Leipzig game. The goals we scored were scrappy as hell. We were just basically trying to get anything we could from that game. It's what we deserve. We deserve third. We deserve Europa League, and I wouldn't be surprised if we get knocked out early in the Europa League. Solskjaer, he probably doesn't have many chances left as United manager. I mean, he might beat Man City to save his job for another couple weeks. But Bruno, I thought, played well in that final match. He was trying to create. I thought our offense didn't do terrible. I thought we created chances. We were pushing, but our defense let us down.
But but just quickly, I say with the offense, where were they in the first half? They didn't
the first
show
half,
up,
yeah, we're
like,
flat.
so
We take forever to get into a match, and unfortunately, once we start to perform when our backs are against the wall. Once we actually have to like score. Okay,
it was too late.
Same thing against Southampton as well.
Oh yeah, exactly. And against West Ham, once we concede, we have to start playing.
And you nearly got the comeback, the most
the
comeback I would have ever seen. If that deflection off, I think off the Leipzig defender, if that went in, oh my goodness.
And some people are even saying, "Oh, the referee was bullshit." I mean, the referee was giving no fucks this game.
Oh, yeah. What was there, like 10 yellow cards or something?
10 yellows. I'm like, what is going on? So
stones and glass houses. That's all I'm gonna say.
So yeah. And then I mean, PSG deservedly went through. I think everyone predicted them to be top. Leipzig, I think both these two teams can go deep in the Champions League. I mean, they lost 5-0 to United the second game, but I think that was a one-off. Let's be real here. I don't know, when they played United, Marcus Rashford came on and scored a hat-trick. And
sometimes those things happen.
Yeah, exactly.
All I'll say with the Leipzig, whoever Leipzig gets as a first seed, it'll be an exciting game, honestly.
Oh, yeah, 100%. So they got second in the group, too. So, yeah. And then more things to top off. Pogba, he came on. He performed very well. I don't know if that's because he's trying to up his transfer value, because he scores a banger against West Ham, and then next day, he's unhappy. Okay, all right.
He should have been unhappy. Listen.
Oh yeah.
Paul Pogba's patience with you guys. I don't want to see any complaints from any United fans, because the patience that he has had to put up with all of these antics, and only now for his agent to say, yeah, he wants to leave. I mean, God bless him. But yeah, PSG, they had a rough start this season. It seemed as if they sort of started the season way too early. Obviously, there was that insane decision from Ligue 1 where they started much earlier in comparison to the rest of the leagues. Now, to be fair, they did cancel the league when Corona first hit, but they just kickstarted it way too early, and I think PSG really felt the effect of that. They're currently top of Ligue 1. They were top of this group. Neymar put on a virtuoso against Başakşehir, and for me, he's the best player in the world. I know that you can argue with me about that for days, but this PSG team still has a lot of quality. Now they're missing a huge piece in Thiago Silva, but Marquinhos and Kimpembe, I still like those two a lot. That midfield, Verratti is back. We got to realize that. They have Danilo. He's all right. So, yeah, I think the big four, really, for this Champions League competition are Bayern, City, PSG, Chelsea.
No, you got City in there.
I do. They're just like a little bit better than the rest of the teams. I mean, they're better than Barca. They're better than Juve.
Yeah, and this is how I keep seeing with City. I keep saying they're going to win the Champions League. I've said this past 4 seasons. Is this finally going to be the season that they actually do?
No.
Here's why I think they have their best chance. It's because Pep, ever since his last Champions League victory, which was in 2011, every big game that he's played, he's always overthunk it. There was the decision to play back three in 2015 against the best front three of all time, which is the dumbest thing ever. You're really going to go to man against Messi, Neymar, and Suarez? That's a death wish. And he got that as well because he lost 3-0. There was the Monaco game where he was knocked out. There was obviously the Tottenham Hotspur match. There was Lyon in last season. But here's the thing. The first half was Pep's fault. The second half was the players' fault because Pep actually changed back to his original system. So I think that through realizing we played a lot better in that second half, if we just stick to what we know well, we'll do fine. Listen, Pep's really hard-headed, but if that can get through to him, I think they're going to be fine.
If
just do what you do well. Just do what you do well.
Players can actually show up as well. Like it seems like they just fall flat when the crunch time actually comes for them in the Champions League recently.
Sterling scores that chance. Gabriel Jesus scores that chance. It's a different story.
Exactly,
it's a different story entirely. But listen, as long as Pep knows, do what you do well. I can't fault him. I can fault the players, but I can't fault him because if he just keeps that, plus as well they have Ruben Dias, who's been very good this season for Manchester City. I think they'll be fine.
I don't know. I just think he always just not just. I think just City in general. They just never rise to the occasion on the Champions League nights, and I don't know if it's just the pressure gets to them. I don't think that's exactly it, but like I don't know. I just keep seeing history repeating itself year after year, similar problems happening, and I just don't think that's unless if they make the semifinals this year, I'm not believing in City at all.
Yeah. I think a lot of people maybe had the same feeling about PSG throughout the last couple of years, and last year they finally made the final. I feel like Man City and PSG are in that kind of bubble where it's like, can they actually make it to the Champions League final, or are they just all money?
Can they even get to the semifinals?
City
That's all I'm asking for.
Yeah.
Yeah, because think about it. We popped that bubble. Who's going to be next, or is this just an unsustainable system, right?
Yeah, and then I mean they conceded 1 goal in their group. I mean, I'm sure Olympiacos, Marseille, Porto, but I think they can make it to a semifinal or a final. It's just, do they have that it factor? Can they get a last minute goal when they need it from Sterling, from Bernardo Silva? Because that's something I feel like we don't see enough from City. The last minute goals, that edge to score and win a game. I don't know. It's just
clutch factor.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe Ferran Torres has it. Maybe Phil Foden has it.
The team they have built is built to win league titles, to go on those grueling, 38 matches, the grind. Whereas Champions League,
I think he's in a rebuild right now, but still, still a very good team.
Rebuild. I don't think you can say City's in a rebuild. I mean, they constantly spend money every single season just to get a new left back.
Yeah, true.
I don't know.
I think if
and
anything,
it's Cancelo now, and Cancelo looks good. So
I think if anything, they're always trying to retool the defense because they always have someone injured out for long term.
But I think they sorted that out a decent bit now. So
they sorted out with Diaz, and listen, they paid so much money for Ake for a good reason because Laporte is injury prone. So
just to round off Group H, I had a sliver of hope that PSG would lose to Istanbul. That did not happen. Istanbul lost 5-1. So
plus there was the whole incident prior to that
as
well. So they had a full day to sort of feel each other out, and then the day after, I mean, again, Neymar virtuoso.
I mean, we didn't really talk about the incident. So what exactly kind of happened? Was it the linesman? Was the I didn't really read too much into it.
I think a lot
of you guys have DAZN, right?
Yeah, we have DAZN. Yeah.
Okay, so anybody who was able to watch it back, because I watched it back, but anybody else who was able to watch it back, I'm gonna let them go first.
From what I know, it's just it seems like a lot of miscommunication, cultural differences with the words, similar to what Cavani's situation with the Manchester United, but again, I don't think I'm the best person to comment on this. I didn't watch it back. I only just saw clips
from what happened. It was the 4th official, so it was on the touchline, and for some reason he was referring to the black coach for Istanbul Başakşehir, and he's Romanian. So according to him, he used the Romanian word for black, which is very, very similar to the word that has a very strong negative connotation with people of African descent. So the coach obviously got upset. He was then red carded. Then the entire Istanbul Başakşehir team comes over, and then the dialogue starts. And then you start seeing Dembaba, not so much speaking to the referee, but more sort of, grilling him, basically. But I mean, the whole incident, first of all, I don't want either team's fined for this. I don't, because I think it discourages teams from being able to recognize these incidents and stand against them. I think it'll discourage teams because they'll think, if we get a points deduction, they obviously did not, but if we get a points deduction or if we get a fine, let's keep our mouths shut. We don't want that. I also want the coach's red card to be rescinded as well. And obviously, the referee is being investigated now. However, if he's found guilty, it will be a 10-match suspension. Oh, wow. But the one thing I don't understand is he was communicating with the players in English. Yeah. And with all of the racial discourse that has happened over this year, surely surely you would know that that word, even if it means a different word in your language, obviously that's enough to set off a person when there is such a negative connotation with that word to them.
Yeah.
So it's either racism, it's ignorance, or it's both. And listen, it could very well be ignorance, but that is just as big of an offense, especially with everything that's happened this year.
100%.
No, 100%. I think, Lucas, you referenced Cavani's situation. As soon as that word is dropped, it's almost like a, I don't know what word to say, but people come after you. They'll call you out for it. You do not use that word. It's simple as that. Try to avoid using that word.
Yeah.
Imagine this. Let's say for argument's sake, in Croatian, there's a word that means dark, for example, but it has a very strong resemblance to a word that is very derogatory. If I know the meaning of that word to the other person, but I still choose to say it, I'm just as liable. Like as if I were to just say it just to insult the person, because you know that to them it means something completely different to what you're meaning.
Mm-hmm.
So don't be surprised when you get this reaction, because of course you're going to get this reaction. Did you just expect them to say, like, I just read the room.
Plus, it didn't help that during the week the Millwall supporters booed the knee. It's just
and that's the thing.
Society,
it's considering the times we're in right now with the Black Lives Matter. It's all that. It's like it's a horror. Shouldn't say that in general like that, but it's also bad timing with it as well.
Yeah, it's the worst evils.
Yeah, and it's also like, listen, again, if you didn't mean it in that way, we are in a time period now where it doesn't matter whether or not you're guilty or innocent. It's whether or not you're in this situation in the first place. Because this is a society that is very much guilty until proven innocent. So he did himself a disservice. He did the coach a disservice. He did all of the players a disservice. I mean, nobody won from this. Realistically, nobody won from this. Unless, of course, because the only way that somebody could win from this is if the referee were to be taken to a course where he's educated on, the meaning of it and the history and how, it affects people of that color. But I don't know. I don't expect UEFA to do anything major about it. It'll just be a little slap on the wrist, and everybody will forget about it in months' time.
It was a unfortunate situation. So
yeah,
I'm glad we touched upon that, because it is an important subject to talk about. Just to top off the rest of the Champions League, Alvaro Morata, he top goals tied with Haaland and Rashford for 6 goals. Neymar also had 6 goals. So interesting goal scoring race in the Champions League. So no Lewandowski up there.
He's been rested though. He hasn't played as much as he has.
A lot of that roster's been rested. I guess before we wrap things up, the round of 16, the draw will happen on Monday. Same for Europa League. We're not going to touch on Europa League because we don't want
to ruin your mood, but I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to miss the draw, man, because
it's gonna be it'll be interesting because Europa League is actually looking very entertaining with all the teams dropping down.
I liked watching Sevilla last season as well. That was a fun final.
Yeah, we gotta watch more Ajax and more Bruno Fernandes.
Well, let's just let's quickly say, who do we think is gonna win the Champions League right now with the 16 teams that went through?
I think right now it's really tough to say. I mean, everyone has Bayern Munich, but aside from that, I feel like there's no clear winner this year. Bayern's, and even then they could be gotten at.
Exactly. They could have been gotten at last season. Listen, if it wasn't for Manuel Neuer pulling out a fantastic game in the final, PSG would have won that game.
And I think PSG will be in the mix without a doubt. I mean, you say Neymar, best player in the world. I think that's fair.
Top two at the very least.
I think it could be honestly either team from Group A, Bayern or Atletico, or City. City, if they can actually figure out how to win in the Champions League, and Liverpool. You can't sleep on Lucas, your boys. Your team has been doing wonders without without some key players.
I noticed Pava didn't mention
So-
them in his 5 favorites, so I was gonna try and mention.
No,
them.
I didn't. No, in the big four, I didn't mention them just because I feel like Virgil van Dijk is such a massive loss, and I also feel like Alisson is quite injury prone. It feels like the left backs and right. I feel like Andy Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold, they've still been good this season, but sometimes they have an off game, sometimes they have a very good game. It's inconsistent. You can't really predict it with them. And then Mohamed Salah, I think once you just cut off his supply line, he's just kind of there. He's very similar to Raheem Sterling in that sense.
I mean, to be fair, I think if Liverpool can get through this tough winter period and be okay with injuries, I think they should be able to make a run. I think in the league, especially against the recent 2 matches, Wolves and Leicester, they look probably the best I've seen them in, since early this year.
No, they've been I'll agree with you, Lucas. They've been very exciting recently.
I know in the Champions League they haven't been as good, but I think like Matip and Fabinho, if Matip can stay fit, that'd be nice. But like those two are more than a good enough center back pairing to go deep in the Champions League. Fabinho just impresses me every time I watch him play. I think Robertson has had a great season so far. He's I think stepping up in the leadership role with the team. And of course, many people argue, I've seen arguments where people say without Henderson, Liverpool can't do anything or something like that. And I guess it depends on the context. I think sometimes you need a guy like Henderson to rile up a team. So if he can stay fit, that'd be nice as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of gotta agree where it doesn't seem like there's like a really clear winner. Because all the big teams, in my opinion, have all had these wishy-washy seasons so far. Everyone seems it's up and down right now. So it's really just gonna come down to who shows up on that night, kind of thing.
Yeah. And I guess, I mean, do we have a winner for Europa League? Should we touch on that? I'm just gonna go. I think AC Milan will take it this year.
Ooh, actually, they haven't been as consistent as they have been in Serie A. I back them to win Serie A and prioritize that over the Europa League.
It'll be interesting what happens in the Europa League because I mean, yeah, you have Shakhtar dropping down, United. I don't think United's gonna win. I'll be honest. I don't unless something miraculous changes and we go.
Ole's gonna find a way. He's gonna find a way to screw it up.
It happened against Sevilla. And,
there's a lot of good quality
Spurs,
teams down there. Though. Spurs is in that mix too. Yeah,
Leverkusen are looking good.
Yeah.
Honestly, the Europa League may be. Who knows?
It's gonna be fun to watch. People like to laugh at it, but right now there's some serious competition going on.
Yeah,
and teams are gonna want to win that trophy if they have it on the line, I guess. But I think we're gonna wrap things up there. Pav, thank you for being. I mean, today's
always a pleasure.
Yeah, it's good. We like having Pav on. We like his opinions.
Keep it Canadian. Keep it
exactly.
Canadian.
Keep it Canadian. So, if you made it this far into the podcast, the show, thank you so much. Don't forget to drop a follow or follow Pav on socials. Links will be in the
Big Dog Pav at TikTok. That's it.
He likes tweeting, so check him out on Twitter.
Oh, tweets by Pav as well. That's something.
Yeah, and of course, links will be in the description. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this, guys. Thank you for tuning in. And as Liam always says, that's been yet another week in the beautiful game. Ciao.
Ciao.